interesting set of circumstances has happened. And so this is one of these things that a lot of people who are, say, alt-right writers, really toward way back, even toward the beginning of Return of Kings, is when you got these articles where people were really like, well, what can be done to change things, this and that, and what are the kind of pillars of this? So especially after Mold Bug, there we go. Yeah. After the Mold Bug essays and the use of the cathedral, and it became like, so what is at the essence, what is it about the cathedral that makes it so powerful? What can we do, this, that, and the other? So what it became was this, that there were certain staples to business, one of which is having to always trade in dollars. And that internationally, you have to convert things to dollars. So there needs to be a financial institution that you work through that you could change, say, your rupees to dollars to then do business. And then it might be getting, and it was changed back to rupees or changed to, not riads, or reals, say like that. Well, so something recently has happened with a number of countries all at once, and that is recognition of other currencies by the IMF. The IMF wasn't doing this before. It wasn't agreeing to this. But what's interesting is what this shows. Why is the IMF even doing this if the dollar's so strong? Remember, the economy is supposed to be so strong. Why would the IMF accept payments for debts in renminbi and yuan? They don't need to. They didn't need to do that. This should be a currency that's far too weak for people to do that. But no, they've compromised in some way, or it's the understanding of America really doesn't have the power that we used to, that we can control how business is done across the world, which is key to everything. That's everything. Everything that is fundamentally culturally kind of the love affair that you're seeing from the left of center. Oh, I see. Okay, that's closed off. Almost all the excess money that we're allowed to have public projects and beautifying projects and libraries and all these things that they don't really earn revenue. But they're amenities of these cities. A big one also is going to be investments in colleges and various patterns of donation to colleges. That's going to alter because the world sees the young are in India. There are some young in China, enough compared to the United States. The United States does not have the young people with then incentives to participate vigorously in the economy and compete. They're having their incentives taken away, and this is the beauty of it, is there will be no way around. Your incentives were most obviously taken away from you by the Democratic Party, the left, specifically the progressives, and inevitably Antifa. You will be to blame, because these cities required people working within them to generate a certain amount of tax revenue. There will be no capacity to bail out every major city on the West Coast. Seattle literally has pretty much this mayor to turn around the way that they do what they do. And they have to start enforcing law, because you see, then the next stage is this. Once the losses start to show for commercial real estate, and that you have these people holding commercial real estate. Right now, people are begging the San Francisco government to not refinance, to bring the analysts out so that the analysts can look at what your property is worth at present and tax you at that rate. Fundamentally, there are no Democrats in any city that this behooves at the power level. They can't do this. What they have promised people will be there as an amenity. The various activist groups that they will absolutely not piss off, because now, of course, you're dangerous people. And you're allowed to be dangerous. You're allowed to do things to people, and there's no law enforcement to stop you. But as soon as you are outside of those blue enclaves, the sheriffs and the police will be more than willing to arrest you. So they're now locked in these cities with you. More and more as it becomes obvious, the squeeze becomes obvious. It's going to change how friendly people are to the Democratic Party. Fundamentally, it's not going to change. The Republican Party is obviously on surge mode. It's obviously gaining all the gold stars, every level. While the left is trying to speed run, and it's not working, is it? So there was not only going to be the ability to pay off debts in yuan. That's a big part of what's going on with Argentina right now. The change in Argentina has come because Argentina was able to use yuan to deal with some of their debt refinancing. And that's changed everything for them. They have a whole new way that and the present guy who's going to very likely become president, if he hasn't already, it's going to be a whole new course for Argentina. That's another place that then they will want to center more and more of their international business stuff like there. And then also it's that they have heavy water, they have heavy shipping industry, and they have water power. How the left has hollowed out things. The world now has made it possible for the ultra-capitalist mega gazillionaires to invest now widely in the developing world through yuan, and more currencies are going to become kind of available to use. This is why El Salvador's call on using Bitcoin is such a great call. It's such a magnificent call. It's, again, another way of incentivizing people. People might lose it all. They might invest in something, might invest in banana farms and lose everything. The thing is, though, they tried. And somewhere money moved, and that's the important part of it. So somewhere it became, almost an awesome job to become a banana farmer because there was so much investment. See, that's how that goes. So now the left is burdened with these geographic areas that are actually that wealth is actually dying in these geographic areas. The IMF is looking at charts, they're looking at everything, they're seeing it. They're like, no, now it's time. We're opening up opportunities to invest in all these other countries in their own currencies, and it's regional currencies. That's the whole movement that nobody wants to admit is winning, is regionalism. And I called it. All the other people have been calling it. It doesn't. Russia needs a year-round blue water port. That can't happen unless they can deal honestly with who's in their region of the world so that they understand their mutual interests. That's an example. But now everybody's going to learn. It's going to be fascinating to see too.